What is going on, everybody, and welcome to Let's Play Sonic the Hedgehog 1, Part 1. The thing you just saw, obviously, isn't in the original game. We are playing the Sonic Origins version of this game, and I think this was just exactly the right decision. As right off the bat, you can see the game is in widescreen HD, it runs at 60 FPS, and these little animated sequences from the same animation team that made the animations for Sonic Mania have been added in this version as well. Now, Sonic the Hedgehog 1 is the first game in a series that went on to become one of the most popular ones in the 1990s. Sonic the Hedgehog is a blue hedgehog, as you can see right here. He can jump, he can turn into a ball and do a spin dash, which is actually a move that he didn't have in the original Sonic 1 on the Mega Drive, which I'm going to talk about in a second, and he also has his drop dash from Sonic Mania. So, right off the bat, the moveset is a little more advanced than it used to be in the 90s, but he can run really fast, and that is exactly what made him so popular, because Sonic is the answer to Nintendo's Mario. In the 1990s, 1991 to be perfectly exact, Sega thought to themselves, why wouldn't we do what Nintendo does? And they created their own mascot, him, Sonic the Hedgehog. But they made one significant change to Mario. It is the exploration and speed. This is the fastest video game from the 1990s. Nothing could compare to the speed of Sonic and to the thrill you would get when playing the game. This is an invincibility shield. As soon as you collect it, you become invincible for a short amount of time, and this is a checkpoint. And that is exactly the marketing they did. Sega does what Nintendo don't, and it just worked perfectly. Sonic was instantly a hit among the younger and also a little older fans, because Sonic appealed not only to kids, just as Mario did, but to older fans as well. And the rings basically act like coins in this game, the Mario coins. As soon as I collect 100 of them, I get extra life, and I just lost my power shield that I collected. This is a lot to explain in such a short time. And yeah, Nintendo immediately felt the rivalry building. Sonic became Mario's biggest rival in the 1990s, even up to the 2000s. Nowadays, they're known to be partners and friends in games like Mario and Sonic, or even some other games. But back in the 90s, they had a rivalry. This was Green Hill Zone Act 1. If you end the level with 50 rings remaining, you will be able to get into a bonus stage, which I just did. I have to pause real quick because I have to explain some stuff. Sonic the Hedgehog was first released on the Sega Mega Drive, or Sega Genesis as it's known in America and Japan. And it was an instant hit. Millions of copies have been sold. And it was, as I already said, the rival for Mario. Oh, don't fall down there. There you go, we're in there. And the game works as follows. There are 6 worlds, or 6 levels, with each 3 acts. Every level has 3 acts. The first 2 acts are normal levels, and the third one is a boss level, in which you have to fight the evil genius Dr. Robotnik, as he was known back in the day. Nowadays, he's more well known as Dr. Eggman. What we just collected is a Chaos Emerald, one of 6 in the game. Yes, you heard me right, one of 6. Everybody knows the Chaos Emeralds to be 7, but back in the day, there weren't 7 just yet. There are only 6 Chaos Emeralds in the game, and I want to get them all, because I want to play this game 100%. So I have to make sure that I end the level, at least Acts 1 and 2, because you can't enter a bonus stage in Act number 3 of every level, with 50 rings remaining. This game is my childhood. It was the first game oh my god. Can we cut that out? Regie? Studio, cut it out. Okay, that's embarrassing. It was the first game I ever played on the PlayStation 2, on a Sonic collection, and it has been my favorite gaming franchise and icon ever since. Sonic is my favorite gaming character of all time, and it shows. I've played pretty much every Sonic game there is, at least every mainline Sonic game, and I love and know these games with all of my heart. I could speed through the entirety of Green Hill Zone in less than probably what is genuinely 3 minutes, or even less actually, 2 minutes more like. But I want to take my time and explore the worlds a bit, because I'm doing 2 worlds or 2 levels per part, and there are only 6 levels and a final zone, final boss level. So this won't be a very long let's play. It's about 3 parts that I want to do it, but it is going to be one for the history books. As I already said, we plan to do 100%, so I have to make sure that I end the level with 50 rings, so I can enter the special stage to get one of the Chaos Emeralds. And I'm not going to spoil what they do just yet, but they do give you something. Not as cool as in the future games, but they do give you something. Go in! But now to talk about the story of the game. The story is that this is South Island, I'm pretty sure, because every island in Sonic has a name. I think this is South Island, and the evil genius Dr. Robotnik has kidnapped all of the animals and put them into his badniks, the enemies that we've been beating the entire time I'm running around Green Hill Zone. He has put them into his badniks to power them, because they run on life forms. And Sonic obviously doesn't like that, because he wants to protect the animals, so naturally he has to find Dr. Robotnik, defeat him, and save the animals of South Island. During this journey he will encounter many badniks, many more enemies than Mario ever did in his first adventure. Of course I say that as a little bit of a biased player, because Sonic is my preferred game to Mario. That doesn't mean that I don't like Mario. I love Mario as well, but Sonic is my childhood. Yeah, I'm trying to talk while doing this shit right here. The special stages in Sonic 1 aren't very intuitive yet, and it's marketed as 3D, but it really isn't 3D, because all you do is just fall endlessly, and you just have to break these diamonds, or diamond-shaped objects, I suppose, that protect the Chaos Emeralds. And it's really not as easy as it might look. Come on, now we get it there. Yeah, there you go. Chaos Emerald number 2. Back to the story. So Sonic has to save the animals and defeat Dr. Robotnik. It's a very simple story, because it's a 90s game. The story didn't have to be complicated. Just look at Mario, for example. Bowser kidnapped Peach. Peach has to be saved. Mario does the job. And it's the same thing here, but we're not saving a girl, we're saving a bunch of animals. Because Sonic himself obviously is one too. If you guys are wondering how Sonic got his super speed, that one's a little more complicated. There are numerous backstories to how Sonic got his speed and how Dr. Robotnik went evil. One of the more popular ones is from the 1990s comics, EU comics. That's very important to note, because the EU comics and the Archie comics, the more popular ones from America, aren't the same. But the EU comics had a backstory that Sonic used to be an evil hedgehog, a brown evil hedgehog, whose name was Kinos, and Dr. Robotnik used to be a good scientist named Dr. Kintobor. But before I continue the story, here he is, Dr. Eggman, in his first ever Egg Mobile, trying to take us out with a ball, but yeah, he's gonna have to do more than that to take us out. I apologize if I'm playing a little poorly. I'm still kind of used to the Super Mario Brothers controls, because before this I just recorded a part of that. But we have to hit him 8 times in total, and he will explode. Green Hill Zone is beaten, and at the end of every Act 3 you have this little pot that you can pop open and animals will jump out of it. Green Hill Zone is saved. Yay! Anyway, so Sonic used to be an evil brown hedgehog whose name was Kinos, and Dr. Eggman used to be a good scientist whose name was Dr. Kintobor. Then, with the power of a rotten egg, a Chaos Emerald, and a lot of science, a science project that failed turned Sonic into the nowadays known Blue Hedgehog, Sonic the Hedgehog, or Kinos into Sonic, and the good scientist Dr. Kintobor turned into the evil scientist Dr. Ivo Robotnik. And if you haven't noticed yet, Sonic and Robotnik backwards is just Kinos and Kintobor. So yeah, they really weren't that creative when doing that backstory, but it's one of the more well-known ones. The official canon is that Sonic has always been like this and Robotnik has always been like this, and it's just the way it is. It doesn't explain why Mario is a plumber saving a princess either, so just take it with a grain of salt. Level 2 is Marble Zone, and it's actually a very, very weird Sonic zone. Don't get crushed, okay? Because Sonic levels usually depend on going fast. I'm really not used to these controls anymore, holy shit. And the Marble Zone is pretty much the exact opposite. You have to go slow, you have to wait for platforms, and that's exactly where the most critics for this game come into play. Most people critique this game for being too slow to be a Sonic game. Of course, the reviews are still fantastic. Sonic 1 is a very, very successful game. But the sequels do outshine it, and it's obvious that it didn't age quite as well as the sequels did. Partly due to the zones that take a little longer, and you can't really build up speed. And that's my main critique point for Sonic 1 as well. It just takes too long to build up speed in most of the zones, and I really don't enjoy 2 or 3 zones in this game at all. This one is one of them, Marble Zone. I really don't enjoy the Marble Zone, but it's iconic, even if it is annoying, so I still kind of like it. I don't enjoy playing it, but it's a cool zone. And of course, I like the entire game, because how the fuck did I still lose my rings? I had a protection shield. Oh well, this is not good, because I'm still trying to get the Chaos Emeralds, and I have to finish the zones with 50 rings. I kind of fucked it up in Act 1. Yeah, I knew that was going to come out. I know this game by heart. I know every level. The fun thing about Sonic is that it doesn't matter how often, how many times you've played through it, the levels have so many different paths and ways you can take that it basically never gets boring. Every time you play it, you will find a different route that you haven't taken before, and that's kind of the magic of Sonic as well, because you can just take your own route and build your speed the way you want. And that's what people kind of missed when they played Super Mario Bros., because the Mario levels are mostly linear, and that's exactly where Sonic outshines Mario. Also in the coolness and the edgy factor, of course. A little more details about Sonic. He is canonically 15 years old, has always been 15 years old, and will always be 15 years old. There's a little secret in here. And he has made his first ever appearance not in Sonic the Hedgehog 1, but much rather in a arcade game that had to do with cars. He was a little car jingly car tree jingle thing that you have on your rear view mirror. That's his first ever appearance, but his first official own adventure is Sonic the Hedgehog 1. Now, earlier I mentioned Sega Mega Drive and Sega Genesis, but what's the difference? There is none. The Sega Mega Drive was the console that Sega released, and that was the name that it had in Europe, and as far as I'm aware, also in Japan. Sega Genesis is just the name of the console in America and the Americas region. For everybody else, it was known as the Sega Mega Drive. As far as I'm aware, the game also released at the same time for every platform, so for every region, different than Super Mario Bros., who the Europeans had to wait 2 entire years for, but I think Sonic released for every region in the same year, which was becoming more of a trend as the 90s went on, because Mario Bros. Is 6 years older than this game. You have to acknowledge that. Mario came way before Sonic, but Sonic was the first rival Mario really had. This game is incredibly successful still to this day, because obviously it didn't stay on the... Oh no. No, I lost my rings right at the end. Oh, god damn it. That's okay, that's shitty. This game didn't stay on the Mega Drive or on the Genesis. It was ported countless times in countless Sonic collections on the PlayStation, on the Xbox, on the Virtual Store, on basically every Nintendo console at this point. And even the Switch got an online subscription service, the Mega Drive collection, or the Sega Mega Drive has an online service. Although it doesn't have Sonic 1 on that, it only has Sonic 2. And of course, the sequels, I will have to talk about those more in detail when we get to playing them. But there were many sequels. Sonic 2 being the first one, Sonic 3 following after, and then Sonic & Knuckles being the last one of the legendary Sega Genesis game series, I guess. That was the last one that was released on the Genesis, and then slowly made the transition into 3D with Sonic Adventure and Sonic Adventure 2, which are still the most beloved 3D Sonic games to this day, and then pushing further into the modern age with Sonic Unleashed and Sonic Colors. We don't talk about Sonic 06 here. we just don't. But yes, Sonic isn't as successful anymore as he used to be in the 90s, but he's still a very big name. Not to mention, also got 3 movies recently. Also another secret right here. These boxes, by the way, that showcase a coin that's actually new in the Sonic Origins version. In the original game, these used to be extra lives. But yes, Sonic also got 3 movies in the span of the last 5 years. All of them very successful. The third one being the most successful so far, and the most liked the games actually. And generally, Sega is just doing everything correctly with Sonic at the moment. They're releasing some good games, they're having good movies. Please don't hit me while I'm in the air. And yeah, they're back on track to be one of the mainline gaming names in the jump and run genre. Back to Dr. Eggman, Dr. Robotnik. This time he's in another Egg Mobile, but he doesn't have a ball anymore. He has a fire or a flamethrower. But since he is not the smartest, even though he is a scientist, he will always only burn one side, and you can hit him and then jump to the other side to safety. Most of the Robotnik fights really aren't hard, especially in the first game. The second one and the third one have some more tougher fights, but this one is just easy, plain easy. And we have freed the Marble Zone. We're already at the end of part 1, we beat the first 2 zones of the game. In the next part we're going to go into the 3rd zone, which is going to be Spring Yard Zone, and the 4th zone, which is going to be Labyrinth Zone. So, as always, thank you everybody so much for tuning in, and I hope you are having a great day, morning, evening, afternoon, or wherever you might be. And until next time, bye-bye.